Page 113, the damper pedal. As if using 2 hands and 10 fingers ain't enough, now we get to put in a foot. Stick the foot in on there. The damper pedal, if you have an acoustic piano, is going to be the piano on the right. You use it with your right foot, if your right foot is working. I had a piano professor in college, one of them, who had an artificial leg, and his right leg was artificial, and he had to pedal with his left foot. And that was fine. Doesn't matter which foot you use what you got. But normally, if you have a working right leg and foot, you will use that for that pedal. If you have an electronic keyboard or something, it probably only has one pedal, and in that case, that's what it is. So let's talk damper pedal. I'm what I call a picky peddler. I'm in the firm belief that if you can leave the pedal out, do. Don't use it. If you're going to use the pedal, use it for a reason. Understand why you're using it, and just because the music says to is not the reason. Understand what it's doing and why is it there. Pedal indications in music, for the most part, are suggestions. Anything I tell you about the pedal is a suggestion. If you have a teacher, you do what they tell you to do while you study under them, and then it becomes a suggestion because people don't agree on these things. They start out with the pedal indication. It's under the bottom staff. It's a line. You have a line goes down, the line goes across, the line goes up. This is the most common indication used today. As music has evolved, pedal indications have changed. They didn't used to be like this. They were much more difficult to follow. This is a little better. The problem with it is that they don't put the line down and the line up exactly where they go. They give you the approximate area of what's happening, and it's up to you to know the precise moment when it goes down and when it comes up. Or your teach, that's what teachers are for. Huh? Look at the first line of music here in the middle of the page. You see the line goes down, and what they've done here is this, the line, you have the finger numbers on one side of it, right under the notes there's nothing. On one side you got finger numbers, the other side you got the line. They're in each other's way. A lot of times you'll see either the finger numbers first and then the pedal under it, or some such thing. Now, physically, pushing the pedal down is fairly simple. Your heel's on the ground here, and you simply work it at the ankle, up like so. It's a fairly small motion. I exaggerate it in the videos a lot so you can see it better, but really it's a small motion. Just make sure when you let it up, you let it all the way up. There are times when you only push it part way down or let it part way up. No, right now it's all the way down and all the way up. So in this first line of music, what I want to do first is I want to get into the habit, because there's different fingering or different pedaling styles. And by pedaling style, I mean when do you push the pedal down and when do you lift it up, not how you push it down. Pedaling styles. I want to use the most common first, and that is the lag pedal. In other words, the notes do first and then the pedal. It's not at the same time. So if I do this at the same time as this, at the same time, they go down at the same time more or less. What I want to do is I want to push the notes down first and then the pedal. The idea is we start the sound before we release the overtones. It kind of grows out rather than all of a sudden. If it were going to be really loud, boom, then we could push the pedal down with it, or sometimes a little before. You could have the pedal down before you even play the note. That way it's ready to explode, and when you play it, it just boom. But here, most of the time, we're going to push the notes down first and then the pedal, like so. For this exercise, we're going to just lift the hand up after one beat and leave the pedal down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Okay. Now the way they've indicated this pedaling here, there's going to be a little bit of silence between each note here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, off. That's the way this is written. Most of the time in music, you're going to have to adjust it. You're interpreting it. It's like I said, it's a suggestion. But for this exercise, that's what we're doing. You're just playing the note, let the pedal hold it down, and then before you go to play the next note, let the pedal up first. That's all that's for. So you get just a speck of silence. Why the silence? Well, I like it because you can still hear the phrasing. Because when you lift, like taking a breath, this is the kind of pedaling we would do. So you could hear the phrasing. Now at the bottom of the page, they do an overlapping pedal. Overlapping starts with the lag, like we just did. Notes first, then pedal. But then when you see in between these measures in the pedal indication, there's a little oop, a little boop, 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 carrot thingy, whatever it's called. I don't care what it's called. It's a little boop, boop. Okay. Again, those boop boops are not exactly where they go. Overlapping, it happens after you play the note. So there's just a little bit of overlap between the two notes. The two notes sound together just for a speck, but it's short enough the ear doesn't mind, it goes away. So at the beginning, at the bottom here, I would push the pedal down right after I play the note, and this little boop boop indicates a change pedal, which means you let the pedal up and right back down. Now it's not a quick jerky motion, you got time just up and down, it's a relaxed motion, but you do it after you play the note in the next measure. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, off. That's overlapping pedal. Why overlapping? Because originally in the early 1800s, piano was coming around and they didn't use this technique. They changed it right when they played it. The problem is if you're not exactly right with the pedal, and you won't be most of the time, you get silence sometimes and sometimes you don't. With the overlapping, you're guaranteed sound all the way through. So you just change the pedal after you play the notes. So those are two different things that we need to do about pedal. Now the warnings. Warning, 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 caution, caution. Okay, never pedal without a reason. Don't just pedal. Some people, when they sit down and play, they automatically just pedal everything. You know, I'd like to take their pedal away. Go play some harpsichord music for a while. Play some Scarlatti or some Bach, and just fingers. When I was in college, my professor would not allow me to use pedal with Bach or Scarlatti because those are harpsichord pieces. And I had to learn to do it with the fingers. You learn that control. It's really great. Use pedal for a reason. Understand why you're using it. It has to affect something, and listen carefully to the sound, the difference it makes when you add the pedal as to when it doesn't. When you first learn a piece, and I go through this process of learning it, pedal is next, almost last. I've learned it totally with the hands and everything first. I want to make sure the hands are doing what they need to do. And then I'll add the pedal. And that's really part of interpreting the music because it affects the sound so much. It has to be incorporated into the interpretation part of the whole thing. And that's the damper pedal. So I guess we're going to use damper pedal for a while. So I'm going to have to talk about that too. Let me know if you have questions. Damper pedal, by the way, has other names. Yeah, you run across the other names. It sustains the sound and it adds the overtones, and that's why we have to be careful. If it just sustained the sound, it didn't change the quality, it didn't add overtones, we wouldn't have to be so careful. But because it adds overtones, it changes the quality, and we need to be aware of that. It's important. It really is.